Welcome to the FAAS orientation video. This is the first step to start fostering. Fostering is an incredibly fun and rewarding experience that truly benefits the shelter animals. You can make a huge difference in the lives of our furry friends. We are so glad you're here. Let's get started. We will cover all the essential information that you'll need to start fostering. First, a quick overview of FAAS as an organization. Then we'll dive into the reasons of why you should foster. Next, we'll tell you about the different animals in our shelter that need foster homes, and that's going to help you choose the right fit for your family and lifestyle. Then we'll talk about the requirements to become a foster. Next, what FAAS provides during the foster period. And lastly, we'll go over the next steps to become fully onboarded and how to bring home your first foster pet. The Alameda Animal Shelter was initially run by the Alameda Police Department from 1984 to 2011. At the beginning of 2012, FAAS, our nonprofit, formed to manage the city's animal shelter, and we took over their contract to provide care for all strays and owner surrenders within the city of Alameda. We receive over 1,000 animals each year. In addition to services like pet licensing and adoption, FAAS provides community support through vaccine clinics, pet food pantry, our pet loss support group, an emergency boarding service that we offer, also spay and neuter services for low-income residents. We want you to know that at FAAS, we never euthanize animals for time or space. We also recognize that this is not something that every shelter can attain due to limited resources. We are incredibly privileged to be able to provide the best possible outcome for all animals that enter our shelter. We take pride in our 97% live release rate. However, the reality is that we do sometimes humanely euthanize animals suffering from incurable medical conditions or when their behavior makes them unsafe for adoptions into our community. This decision is only made after careful consideration and consultation with our entire medical and behavioral team. It's never an easy decision, and it's always one that we take very seriously. Next, we're going to talk about why foster. Fostering is wonderful for lots of reasons, and it benefits both people and animals. First and foremost, it prepares animals for adoptions. You share with us lots about their unique and individual personalities, and this in turn helps us match them with the right forever home. Second, it reduces stress. Living in the shelter is inherently stressful. While some animals, more or less, learn to adapt to this living environment, many animals struggle significantly. Sometimes this results in behavior like fear, frustration, and overstimulation. We find that most problem behaviors that occur in the shelter diminish significantly or are non-existent in the home environment. Next, it allows for staff to care for incoming animals that are still at our shelter. You might be wondering, what about all the animals that are left at the shelter? Well, here's something to think about. When more animals go to foster, our staff and volunteers have more time and resources to focus on the animals that still remain in our shelter. We receive, on average, 3 new animals every single day, and this isn't something that we can control. By bringing an animal home to foster, you've actually helped a lot of the animals that are in our shelter. Next, it is just a rewarding and fulfilling experience. As you can see in the picture to the right here, Buster Brown's foster and Buster Brown himself are incredibly happy. Lastly, it's perfect for those that are unable to adopt or who can only have an animal for a short period of time. It gives an opportunity for the shelter animal to get some time out and also get you some love that you deserve. Let's talk about what animals need to be fostered. First, medium and large dogs. This is ongoing and we need help with this all year long. Next are bottle babies, kittens, and that's going to be during March to October-ish during our height of kitten season. Next are underage kittens. After that are puppies. After that are animals recovering from a surgery or an illness. Also behavior cases in cats and dogs. Also, spa days and overnights, which are for dogs only. We're going to go into a little more detail about each of the types of animals that need foster homes. First, medium to large dogs. Most shelter dogs are 40 pounds and up and between 1 to 5 years old. Medium to large dogs tend to have a longer length of stay in a shelter than smaller dogs do. Medium to large dogs also have a variety of personalities and energy levels. Large dogs that go into foster tend to be adopted faster. Next, it helps adopters really envision the dog in a home environment, especially when you photograph your foster experience. Lastly, it really helps FAAS match them with the right forever home when you're able to share with us a lot about the animal's personality and what type of adopters would be a right fit. A little bit more on fostering large dogs. We always need large dog fosters. Behavior support is provided, and we will match you with a dog that fits your lifestyle. You don't need a yard to foster a large dog. Many large dogs are successfully fostered in apartments and homes without yards. Longer short-term stays are also opportunities that we're looking for our foster dogs. There are opportunities for both long and short-term stay, whatever you prefer. You can foster them until they're adopted. You can also foster them for the weekend or even a spa day. Take them on a hike, something fun. Next are bottle babies. Bottle babies, also known as neonatal kittens, are the most vulnerable animals in the shelter. Neonatal kittens cannot survive in the shelter environment. Sometimes being able to foster for just one night can make all the difference while we await permanent placement. One of the most challenging, but also one of the most rewarding foster experiences. Kittens that are of the age of 0 to 4 weeks old must be fed every 2 to 3 hours. The time between feedings will increase as they get older. By 5 weeks, kittens are ready to start eating on their own. Underage kittens include kittens that are less than 2 months old or are less than 2 pounds. Technically, animals are not legally allowed to be adopted when they're under the age of 8 weeks old. Also, kittens can be spayed and neutered when they're about 2 pounds, which is about, again, 8 weeks old. This is a really specific time period for foster kittens because they're not quite ready to go into their forever home yet. Lastly, underage kittens are really fun and they're relatively easy. This is a great foster experience. Next are puppies. FAAS tries to keep puppies out of the shelter as much as possible. Foster homes are an ideal situation for puppies to build confidence and social skills. Puppies are very fun and also sometimes very messy. FAAS will provide all the supplies to help you be successful, like crates, potty pads, and enrichment toys. Puppies tend to be adopted very quickly. Next, animals that are recovering from surgery or illness. FAAS goes above and beyond to provide quality, compassionate, and timely medical care. While our staff and volunteers work hard to maintain a calm, supportive environment, the shelter is inherently stressful. Animals recover better in foster homes, and all the medical care is provided by FAAS. Medical fosters may require more frequent check-ins with our medical staff. Next are behavior cases. Some of the dogs and cats entering the shelter require a little extra TLC to meet their full potential. The shelter is an inadequate environment to meet the behavior needs of certain animals. Behavior cases are always unique. Some require experience, others require the right environment and compassion. And maybe you're up for the task. Here are some examples of behavior cases. For example, an adult dog that is fearful and maybe too scared to meet potential adopters at the shelter. Well, a foster home is going to help build confidence and their social skills, helping that dog put their best paw forward at a meet and greet. What about maybe a cat that's not using the litter box correctly? Well, a foster could help determine what maybe is causing that behavior. Maybe it's stress, maybe it's the environment. You could really help us find those answers. Lastly, a young adult dog that is frustrated by the kennel and has become mouthy and difficult to handle. Well, this is pretty common for young shelter dogs. Having a foster would really improve their behavior dramatically once they're in a new home. Lastly, are spa days and field trips. This is great for people who only have limited time, who maybe have other pets in the home, or who otherwise can't quite commit to a long-term foster. For example, you could take an animal out on an adventure to a local cafe or a park. Bring them home, relax on your couch or at the yard. Maybe it's for an overnight. Have a slumber party with a shelter dog. Take lots of photos, and that's going to really help promote their adoption. Truly, every moment counts. Studies show that 15 minutes per day of positive interaction helps reduce stress in shelter animals. Any period of fostering is beneficial, and you can make a difference in the life of a shelter pet. Now let's go over the requirements to foster. We make the process super easy and it truly does not take much. The most important thing is that you provide a safe and loving home environment. Next, we ask that you bring your foster animal to medical appointments as needed. Maybe the animal is due for a routine vaccine booster or other care, and we may ask you to bring the animal back to the shelter at a specific date and time for that medical routine checkup. And it is true, younger animals will require more boosters than adult animals. Next, we ask that you be available for meet and greets with potential adopters, as getting them into their forever home is the long-term goal. Next, we ask that you send us photos and videos so that we can promote your foster for adoption. Once you take an animal home for foster, you'll be provided with an easy way to send us those pictures. This is incredibly helpful with matching them with their forever home. Lastly, it's important to note that if you do have pets at home, they all should be up to date on vaccines and flea control. When fostering the animals, they should stay in your possession at all times. We ask that you don't board or change foster homes without FAAS's approval. Next, FAAS does reserve the right to require an animal to return from a foster home at any time for any reason. While FAAS does its best to assess the health of all incoming animals, we cannot guarantee their health status. Shelter animals are at a high risk for disease and exposure. Kittens should always be housed separately from resident cats. Some diseases are zoonotic, which means that they can pass from animal to human. FAAS does not recommend fostering for homes with immunocompromised individuals. Check with your medical provider for more information. Next, what FAAS provides. We provide food, bowls, enrichment toys, towels, and blankets. For baby bottle kittens, we provide formula, bottles, heat discs, crates, and scales, medication if it's needed, ongoing medical care, which all foster animals will need, also behavior support if that's needed. And to clear things up, here's what's not required to foster a pet. You don't need a large home. Sometimes a spare room is enough. You don't need to completely change your life. Fostering with FAAS is flexible. We can work with your schedule. You don't need a long-term commitment. We appreciate our long-term fosters who can keep an animal until adoption, but this is not a requirement. Any length of time out of the shelter, even for just a day, is time well spent. Also, you don't need experience. We will match you with the right animal and support you all along the way. All right, now that you know what it takes, here's how you get started. First, you decide what type of animal you're interested in fostering. Next, complete all the training material that's required for the type of animal that you're interested in. Next, complete our foster registration form. After that, a staff member will reach out to you by email to confirm that you have been added to our database. After that, you will begin to receive communications regarding the animals that need foster. For dogs, once you complete the foster registration form, please come to the shelter during our open hours to meet some of our dogs and find the right foster match. Still have questions? We're here to support you. Give us a call or even just come by during our open hours. And that's it. You're on your way to something truly incredible, and we hope you're feeling confident and inspired and ready to take on the next steps to become a foster family. Refer back to this video anytime for a refresh. If you have any questions about the foster program, please don't hesitate to reach out. We're incredibly grateful for your time and interest, and we hope to see you soon.